All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. So Danny and I have been tag teaming this particular, class, and we're excited because it's teaming right up with, we are starting our colt starting program. And so we're super excited. Dexter, go on. Go on. You're starving to death. So what we're hoping you guys can gain through this next 6 weeks is just kind of looking through the eye as a trainer. How many of you guys have come to lessons and you get frustrated, or you're not sure what the expectations are, or it might depend on what horse you get that day, like how your ride's going to go, that kind of thing. A lot of times our frustration comes because we're making it about us, and at the end of the day, it's got to be about the horse and you. It's the team effort. And so the thing that we know about team effort is how it works is if we understand each other. And so how many of you guys have been on a team, a sports team or something, and it's like, it just was amazing? Like, yeah. How many of you been on ones where it was like, some of the people on the team just weren't really great to work with? Like a little bit hard, right? And so it's learning to find that place with the team where you understand each other. Now, is there going to be moments where it's not perfect? But imagine if you have a better understanding of how the horse actually thinks and operates, and how you actually think and operate, okay? Because part of this is going to be self-reflection. This isn't just going to be about horses this next 6 weeks. There's going to be some self-reflection in here. But is knowing at the end of the day that when we come out of this, that we are going to be better horsemen, but we're also going to be better people. So that's really kind of our hope. I don't know, Danny, if you have anything to add to that part.
Just to sum up and tag on the end of what Miss Teresa was saying, because we're not just making better horses, but about making better people. So expecting the same openness that we see in our horses and that we are looking for, we first get to create in ourselves. So when we're asking the horse to be open, willing, soft, or receptive to what we're doing, it first comes from us too, versus trying to force. So that's the whole mindset we're trying to cultivate along with our program and what we'll be working over this 6 weeks. So, yep. Hi, Adeline.
Okay. So we are, let me put this back on. I didn't hand out pens.
I'm going to hand it.
Okay. But I need that. I want to make sure I'm addressing.
I got one for you.
Okay. So we're doing, each week we're going to have some handouts, because how many of you guys are audio learners? Not really, right? How about visual? Yes. Hands-on? Yes. Okay, so we all have a combination of learning styles. So what we're hoping through this is, a lot of times in lessons, what is most of the lesson geared towards, you guys? What kind of learners? Well, hands-on, but also audio, right? And so we're hoping by creating the kinesthetic between putting your mind, pen, and paper together, that you're going to walk away from this with more tools for your toolbox, okay? And it's also great to go back and reflect on these through the 6 weeks, because each week we were talking about the 6 things that really matter most as a trainer. And today we're going to be talking about the horse and how the horse operates, okay? So through this, the one thing that we really want to nail down, though, is that you guys that are starting the colt starting program, you're going to hear this a lot, is our philosophy about training. And I'm just going to read it. So our goal is to develop horses and humans who are open, willing, and soft. When you train your eye to see through the horse's perspective, you begin to build connection through understanding, not control. How many of us feel like we can control a 1,200-pound horse when they don't want to do something? No, it is a mutual relationship. And when the horse is open, so first of all, open, and I would just, and I want to get to the round pen quickly because we're all going to get hands-on, but what is open though in your guys' words? Go ahead.
Being understanding and willing to take time to actually learn something from another person.
Okay, yep. Okay, okay. All right. So for me, it's a willingness. Open means that I am not resistant. So there's a difference between open and resistance. Whenever we're teaching a horse or trying to communicate with a horse and there's resistance, are they learning? Are they willing? No. So the very first step of everything that we do is open. So that's the very first thing that we want you guys to really be clear on, because Danny's done a really great job this week. I've been able to be out here helping her with some of our young horses, and it was super cool. She jumped on 2 of them yesterday, and just how beautiful that process was when that horse was open through the whole way. It was just like magic. I mean, these horses, I mean, you get on them the very first day, they're so willing and soft because they don't have resistance and baggage. Just like us as people, you know, when we've been hurt, we distrust, that kind of thing, we're no longer open and willing and trustworthy. So today we're going to talk through some things, and I'm going to try to, because Danny's had a long week, I'm going to do this today, and I am going to use this horse, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this horse. So first of all, I don't know anything about this horse. I haven't touched him. I've hardly seen him. He's been in our front paddock. And so the cool thing is we're all going to experience him together. This is so real, guys. This is so real. You're going to get to see this. And the cool thing that we want you guys to take from this is, as you look through the worksheet, we're going to be talking about these different things because they really make a difference. Okay, you're going to be looking at the type of thinker they are, past experiences. Can you tell by the horse what their past experiences are? Are they sound? Because sound, if they're not sound, it's going to be really hard for them to want to do their job, right? So those will be things that you're looking for as a trainer through the trainer's eyes. If my horse has an unsoundness, it's going to be hard for him to do his job. We're going to be talking about energy levels and where does he come from in his energy? I have no idea. Nutrition and condition, like, does that affect how he is? And so we'll be talking about that at the end. And then just some things, the awareness is he open, soft, willing, reactive, you know, these kinds of things. And so we'll kind of talk about this worksheet at the end of working him really quickly. And then each one of you are going to get to do this today. And we're going to get to evaluate all the horses that you guys get to work. So we'll get through this timely. So if I miss parts and pieces of that, will you just kind of remind me?
And to clarify, they can take notes on any or all, as many.
Yes, there's, you know, if you want to write on the back of the sheet, you know, each horse, you know, that would be helpful just as a reference point for you guys later. You know, as we work the horses, you know, keep notes on, you know, part of this process, because it's really going to help you. The more you know about a different horse, won't it be easier to get on different horses when you have that understanding of how that horse operates and thinks? Okay, so as I'm heading out here, I just want you guys, what are you noticing about this horse just in general right now? Okay. Okay. Did any of you guys hear him calling? Yeah. Okay. So what do you think that says about this horse? Just say it out loud. Just popcorn. And Danny, if you can, I don't know if we can popcorn it, but we don't have 2 microphones. Go, just say it, Rue. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, so he doesn't have a lot of self-confidence, right? And you guys are probably wondering why I just bopped him. This is a stud horse, you guys. I don't know this horse. I want us to be in a relationship where I choose. Okay? So that's the first thing. Okay? I choose. For the relationship to work, I have to be the herd leader, no matter what. No matter what happens, I have to be the leader, okay? Because it's my safety that's the most important. It's also important to keep the horse safe, but it's really important to get me safe, okay? So although he's looking for horses in the outside, this horse has a dominant personality, and I would assume it's because he's a stud horse, okay? So I need to determine that when I come into the pen. I love that he wants to come to me, but I didn't ask him to, okay? And I'm really not paying attention to him right now, and I'd really like him to just stay in his bubble, and I'm gonna stay in mine. Okay, so some things that we're looking for to start with is this horse, what I'm looking for him is what kind of, is he a fast thinker or a slow thinker, okay? And I would just say, just by, and we'll see once we move him out a little bit, I think he's probably a combination of two, and part of it can be because he still has his boy parts. So that that is an indicator of some things. But, you know, we'll see as we work him. So a couple things, a couple rules of thumb. Horses in the wild are in a herd, and there's a herd leader all the time, which is the herd mare. And she is the one that decides who is in the herd and who isn't. And that's you. That's your job. Okay, so you get to decide every time you take a horse, are you the herd mare or are you at the bottom of the pecking order? Because if you're at the bottom of the pecking order, guess what? When you ride. Okay, do you think that herd mare is worried about upsetting somebody when she turns around and double barrels them with both hind feet? Heck no. Or she bites them? Oh, Fifi, I'm so sorry. Oh, he's such a good boy. No, people, we're talking about 1,200 pounds of horse here. So you got to decide for yourself, who are you when you're working with the horse, okay? In that herd relationship. So how do I establish that relationship with this horse? Is in the wild, the herd mare determines by sending them out of the herd, and then it's up to them to come back in and submit, okay? And so every time we ride, and every time we work our horse, there has to be this relationship of submission. And sometimes that's really hard for people to understand with horses because we're so afraid of hurting feelings because that's the world we live in right now. Okay, can we get over that today? Okay, so as a trainer, I am not worried about how this horse's feelings are. Okay, so am I on the right track still? Yep. Okay, all right, so when you guys are working this horse today, the two things you can control are speed and direction, right? So we're going to see this, and he's going to be able to tell us, he's going to give us some indicators of who he is. And the reason I'm going to round pen this guy and join up is because what I know is this: I need to establish our relationship right out the gate. Okay. So number one, just watching him move, can we address one of the issues? Soundness. Does anybody see anything? Okay. So if I am the trainer and I'm going to ask the horse to go to work, is he going to give me his best self when he's worried about that? No. So you're always looking for soundness, okay? So he may not be able to do his job today as well, or just in general, you know, moving forward, because we know he's got crappy feet, okay? Do you notice anything about ears, eyes, head? Okay? He what? He is? He got one ear toward me, okay? Okay? He's licking his lips already. He's already like, this lady, she's not taking any crap off of me. Okay, he just sneezed too. Is that another indicator? Yes. Okay, so he is protecting himself a little bit. His head was up. Yes, he's still looking to the outside out there, right? So we can look at eyes, we can look at ears, We can look at their mouth. All of those indicators can tell us whether the horse is ready to go to work. When we're riding, the same thing happens. If their head is up, if their ears are all over, you know, if his rib cage is pushed against you, all of those are indicators of whether that horse is open and willing, okay? If this horse's head is up, he is not open and willing to go to work. He is still in fight flight. I have to give him a little grace though. If he's got sore feet, do you know how we know? Their head usually comes up when they're lame. So it's going to be a little hard to assess him today, 100% in that. Okay, so ears, eyes, okay. So another thing, I like what Rue said, is I can look at rib cage. So in that rib cage is their heart girth, and we'll be talking a lot more about that later. So if that heart girth is pushed towards me, basically he's closed off. When they submit and move it away from you, he's open to receiving information. Okay. Oh, yeah, he is very dominant, truthfully. I can just feel his energy right now. Yep. Okay. You have 3 seconds to make a decision when you're training a horse, okay? How many seconds? Okay. When he turned his butt at me, there was no time for me to go, oh, Fifi, stop doing that. No, it means knock it off. Okay? Ask, tell, command, level 1. Okay? As a trainer, our rules are clear. We have expectation. We do not wait. We are clear. That was him stating dominance. And you guys, 1 inch, they will take a mile. Next time it'll just get bigger. Okay. Okay. Danny's talking. Good, good, good. Good. Anybody got guesses on his processing right now? Yes. You little stink.
He's going to control the situation by getting out instead of allowing himself to be offering. He's offering a lot.
Here you go. Ah! Good boy. Okay. So when you have a fast thinker like that, if I'm a slow thinker, I got to step up to the plate. Okay? So those of you, I won't name names. Some of you know who you are. You know what? Sometimes you got to pick it up. You got to move your feet. And it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got to do whatever it takes to rectify the situation. If you take a step back, like in that scenario, I can create issues. Okay? You guys have had the pleasure of riding lesson horses who are pretty immune to a lot of emotion because they've had to do it to survive. These horses, some horses that aren't in the lesson program are not dull to emotions. And he's very raw. And so every time we take the lead rope with his horse or we go to work with his horse, the rules have got to be clear. Okay? And if I can stress that to you, not just with horses, but in your life, you know, so much of the time, it's that fear of making that decision and following through with what we've committed for ourselves. And I can tell you that horses have taught me so much about that, is you won't hear me say something and then not follow through and do it. Because integrity is everything when you're working with horses. And you're going to learn a lot about yourself when it comes to horses and your own personal integrity. If you find yourself stepping back all the time, that's probably a personality issue as much as it is a fear issue with you and the horse. Okay? And so you can practice this at home and in your life when you leave here. You can choose to have integrity in everything that you do. And when you say you're going to do something, you show up and you do your best at everything. Okay? So now we see this horse. What do we see with his head now? Huh? I mean, there's a lot of things happening. What are the changes you see? Do you feel like he's any more open? Because that's the number one thing, right? What is open? What would be the characteristics of what he's doing right now that would tell me he's open? Okay, yeah, he is. He's opening. Okay, what else? Yeah, you don't have to raise your hand, just talk.
It still seems like he's kind of like going up and down and up and down.
Okay. Yeah, it is, and it is up and down, but do we reward the try? I mean, I don't know this horse. I mean, we could both get lathered up sweaty today. I can tell you that right now. I'm probably going to choose not to do that. But I see some things about him that are showing that he's a little more open. Not a whole lot. I agree with you, Rue. But that was open. That was soft. That was willing. Did you see the difference? Open, soft, willing, or open, willing, soft, okay? That I asked quietly, gently, and he did it. And that's what we're looking for in everything that we do with the horses. And you can see when you draw the line in the sand how much quicker that they choose to be open, okay? How many of us feel like when we don't have clear boundaries or they change all the time in a relationship or something like that, it's really hard for us to stay open because we're afraid to get hurt because the rules keep changing. And the horses are so much the same, right? And so when we want them to constantly keep that wall of resistance down and stay open and willing and soft. Okay. Yeah. Look at that. That's what we're looking for, right? So this is step one, okay? Understand, using the horse's herd instincts of the herd mare, the boss mare, understanding the expectation, looking at his, open and willing, looking at his soundness, his nutrition. Sometimes horses aren't willing to do their job. On a body score right now, I think his body score is pretty good. I mean, I would say he's like an 8, quite frankly. He looks really good. And does anybody know what we're talking about with body score? Yes, Rue? Yeah, because how many of us, when we haven't eaten, or we're a little, we're nutritionally deficit, feel great doing a job? Or maybe we've got a little bit too much and it's hard to do our job, right? So we want to be looking for those things too. From a trainer perspective, is conditioning is super key, you guys, for the horse to do their job. So number one thing that we do here at J-Team Ranch is we evaluate that. And I think we have a whole class planned on that, so I won't go into detail on that, right? Yes. So, but yeah, I won't tell you anymore. But that's a really high priority, yes. Okay, is that all the parts and pieces? And you guys, do you see how, okay, here's one thing I want to point out right now. Just as he walks, I want to point out something. Let's let him walk for a second. Do you see how his head is going side to side and up and down when he's walking? Okay, that is also something to look at. When a horse is tense, they're like we are. You know how you get rigid? Even in your walk, So when you see that softness of the muscle, that's an indicator too that that horse is open and willing. When there's tension in their body, they're not likely open and willing for their job, okay? All right. We got to make sure we have everybody else has time. Okay. Oh, that's excellent. Thank you. That's a great reminder. So there's a difference between emotion and energy. Who knows the difference? Okay. Yes. So in your words, explain it like in 1 second or less, you guys. Anybody? Kennedy? Anybody got it? The difference between emotion and an energy? Woo! Mic drop. Okay. I hope we got. Too bad we don't have that on the microphone. I know we should do it. Okay. So bringing your energy up is different than me getting mad and frustrated. Okay. When I ride, I leave my emotions at the gate. Okay. You cannot bring your garbage from out in the world with you. There is never a time when you get to be emotional with a horse. Never. Anytime that occurs, you're working in human language versus horse language. Energy is what communicates to your horse, okay? It's either positive, negative, fast, slow, whatever the situation asks for. Anytime you react in anger or frustration, you take your training back at least 2 to 4 steps. And you start the resistance and the horse is no longer open, okay? And because you're not open either. So it's really important, sometimes like when I got after him, I wasn't after him out of emotion. I was after him out of energy so that he understood that I meant business, okay? Yes? Yes? No. Super good. Yeah. So, because anytime you bring baggage into the training session with the horse, it's kind of like you coming home or coming into the classroom at school, and somebody's standing there, and you like puke out, "Oh my gosh, it was such a horrible night last night. My parents were fighting, and nobody's getting along in my house, and I didn't get breakfast this morning, and I was stressed out, and I barely made it to school on time, and I forgot my lunch, and blah, blah, blah," and all that. You just puked all that out on somebody, and now they're like, "Whoa, shoot. Can you breathe for a second? Okay, now that's injected into my day, and now my nervous system is all whacked out," right? That's how the horse feels too. When you guys come to them in that place, okay? And so being able to be in that space of not bringing that to the table is huge. Okay, so I am going to see if we can end on a good note so everybody gets an opportunity. And we'll see where he's at. I might have to do another few rounds. We'll see. Oh, yep. None of that. You don't get to turn your booty. There are no eyeballs in their butt, ever. You never want to see the horse's butt, no matter how cute it is. Oh, you are. I trusted you to be good. Oh, you are naughty. I did not want him to run over those panels. I needed my Jane Fonda today. Woo! So that's another thing we'll talk about is your fitness, right? You got to keep yourself fit enough to take on whatever they're going to give you. Yeah. You are something else. Oh my gosh. Go that way. Thank you. Okay. The reason I'm gonna breathe for a second and bring this up. This horse is a fast thinker, obviously. And I want you to notice how quickly he closed his willingness, his openness. It was like, so just because you rode a horse one day and they were open, willing, and soft, if you brought crap to the table or something happened, they can close right off again. Okay? So that's my last thought on that, Nanny. If you want to get a different horse, I can finish working him. I'm not going to leave like that. Okay. Thank you. Lord, have mercy. I don't know that he's all here with me right now, though. Might take another minute or two. Minnow. Yeah, she's. Hi.
So gloomy.
So in the beginning, do you remember how dominant this horse was? It's going to take him a minute. It was fine on his terms, but it's not fine on my terms. Do you see the difference? Like he's like super like, I don't know. Oh yeah. Yeah, let me grab him out. Yeah, let's not do that. Is this it? Which halter is his? Is this it?
I got this one with the long lead rope in case you needed a swift beastin. Oh,
Oh,
the blood's organized. Here you go.
we can
You
just.
need a whacker?
No, I'm gonna put him. We're just gonna put him up, right? Okay. Did you want to stop the recording? And then, do you want to stop the recording, Matt?
Minnow is right there.
Okay.